people, and welcome back to my tutorial for today. I sincerely appreciate you all. Thanks for stopping by. And please, if you're yet to subscribe, kindly do so by hitting on that red icon. So now today's class we shall be looking at how to make a mermaid dress. I'll be using 3 yards of crepe fabric for it. So let's get started. Okay, I'll be cutting the down part of our dress first. So here I have my waistline measurement. So this is the point that our measurement will be starting from. So here, this is my hip line measurement, and from waist to hip we have 9 inches because this is a dress. So from that, our knee line is 23 inches. But I'm coming up, which is here. My 23 is supposed to be this place. But I came up by 4 inches. So that is where I want my fillet to start from, so that it will give me a very nice shape. But you can just decide to come up by 3 inches or 2 inches, whichever one you want. But mine, I want it to be 4 inches, so that I'll start my measurement by from the those 19 inches. So the length of my dress is 45 inches. So now I will take my body measurement. Okay, the waist I'm working with is 38 inches. Divide by 4 will give me 9 inches. So I'll just mark my 9 inches, then 1 inch for that. And I'll be using 1.5 inches for my seam allowance. This is a kind of little bit stretchy. I'll just be adding 1.5 for my ease. And coming to my hip, the hip I'm working with is 48 inches. Divide by 4 to give me 12 inches. So I'll mark my 12 inches and add my 1.5 inch for ease. So here, giving me total of 13.5 inches. So I'll just come down here. Instead of marking that 13.5, I'll go in by 1 inch or 1.5, depending on the one you want. But let me just go in by 1 inch. Then coming down to my hemline part, here depends how you want it to be. You can use 16, 17, 18. That is when folded. So here I'm using 18 inches. I just folded my fabric to that 18. So I'll just go ahead now and connect my lines. So after joining my line, I have something like this. So I'll just curve here so that I will not have sharp edge at this point. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So before I cut it out, at this point, this is my hemline. I'll come in here by 1.5 inch. I'll just go up here by 1.5 or 2 inches. Okay, let's just take 2 inches this way. So I'll just connect it. To dodge this sharp edge that is here. So I'll cut it to dodge this sharp edge here. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. After cutting it out, I have this. So I'll just go ahead now and place it on to cut the back part. I folded those my other pics into two, and I carefully placed the front part to it. So now I come out here by 8 inches and the down part by 12 inches. The back will be longer than the front. So here I marked out my 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance from the new line down up to my waist measurement. Okay, at this my nail line now, I'll go in by I'll go in this way by half an inch. I'll go in here by half an inch this way. I'll just make a slight curve here to meet this half an inch here. So from this point now, I will make a straight line to meet my 12 inches down to this part. I'll connect from here down to my 12 inches here. Then from here, from this point, I will connect from the edge of the front part. I'll make I'll just connect it this way. So now this is our back part. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So I'll just sketch out this part. Okay, after everything, I have this. So I'll now proceed in cutting the upper part of our dress. Okay, coming to the upper part of our dress, this is an off shoulder dress. So I'll be minusing 5 from it. I folded my fabric into 2. So we are cutting the front part first. So I'll minus 5 from it. And I'll take my half length measurement. And the half length I'm working with is 17 inches, which is this line here. So here I will mark my shoulder to nipple measurement. That's my breast point. So here I have 12 inches. From my shoulder to nipple is 12 inches. I added half an inch here to make it 12 and a half. Then my underbust is 15 inches. I added half an inch to make it 15 and a half. So here the difference I have from this my nipple to my underbust is 3 inches. So I go up by 3 inches, or you can take your chest measurement and mark it here. So this is my chest measurement, this is my shoulder to nipple measurement, and this is my underbust, and this is my half length. So these are the 4 lines that we have here, and this is our upper part. So here I will take my bust measurement at this my chest line, and the bust I'm working with is 41 inches. Divide by 4 to give me 10.25. We are dividing by 4 because this is the front part and we fold into 2. And when we are cutting the back, we also fold into 2. So we are dividing it by 4. We are assuming that this is folded into 4 parts. So here I have my 10.25. I'll just mark it here. And I'll be using allowance of 1.5 inches. So I'll mark my 1.5 inches here. And at my waistline, I'll be taking, at my half length, I'll be taking my waist measurement. And the waist I'm working with is 36 inches divided by 4 to give me 9 inches. So I'll mark my 9 inches here. And I'll add my 1.5 for my ease. So I'll just connect the lines. So coming back here, I will take my nipple to nipple measurement. That's the difference between one of my nipple to the other nipple. And the difference is 8 inches. So I will divide my 8 inches by 2 to give me 4 inches. Because this material is a little bit stretchy, I won't be adding any allowance for my sewing. So I'll just take that my 4 inches. Then coming to this upper part here, instead of taking that 4 inches, I will be adding 1 inches to it, making it 5 inches instead of that 4 inches. So after that, I will just connect the lines. So having done so now, at this my half length, I will come down by 1 inches. Okay, sorry, I will take 1 inch at this side and take 1 inch at this side. And at my under bust too, I will mark 1 inch here and here. And at my nipple, at my shoulder to nipple measurement, that's my breast point, I will come down by 1 inch and I will go up by 1 inch this way. So the chest line too, I'll mark 1 inch here, mark 1 inch here. So this place now, I will connect my darts. So I'll just mark a straight line to connect it. I'll mark a straight line here to connect this one this way. So here, I'll connect to this 1 inch too, this way. Then I'll come down straight to join this 1 inch down. So this is what I have. So then I will go back to add up all these darts that I'll be removing, because when I'm cutting out all these things. So I'm going to add it up at this part. So coming to my waistline, what I removed here is 2 inches. So I'll come back here and add that my 2 inches back. Then I'll add 1 inch for joining. Then at this my under bust, 2 inches plus 1 inch for joining, so I'll just add 3 inches here. Then coming here, I'll check what I have here, and that is 1 inches. So I'll just add 1 inch plus 1 inch for joining. I'll have 2 inches. So I'll just mark the 2 inches here. So coming at this upper part now, I will take my shoulder measurement, and the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches divided by 2 to give me 8 inches. So that's 8 now. I will minus it 2 inches to give me 6. So that's 6 now. You know I minus 2 inches here. So that's I'll add up these 2 inches back to this place and add 1 inch for my joining, making it 3 inches. So I'll mark this 3 inches here. So this line now, I'll connect it this way. Then I'll connect this one. So I have this. So when I'm cutting now, I'll cut out this way to this, and to this part. The same thing here, this way, and I'll come down like this. Then I'll cut down straight, and I'm cutting here. So now I'm not making use of this line that is here. So I'm not cutting anything at this point. Okay, before I go ahead and cut it out, let me first make the neck of the dress. And for this dress, I'm making a sweetheart neck. So here, from the chest line, I'll be going up by 1.5 inches. This way. So I'll just come like this and connect it to the first dart. So I'll just go ahead now and cut it out. Okay, after cutting it out, we have this. Remember I told you that this line here is not needed. So as you can see, I did not make any cut at that line because I'll replace it at this part. So and this is the neck part of it. So I'll just go to my machine now and do the joining. So for the back of our dress, okay, for the back part, I'll do -5. Then I'll take my half length, which is 17 inches, which is here, and this is my chest line. So I'll just take my measurements. So here at the chest part, I'll take my bust measurement, and the bust I'm working with is 41 inches divided by 4 to give me 10.25, which is here. Then I'll add extra 1.5 inch for my allowance. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'll first of all mark 1.5 inches here for my zipper. Sorry. For the down part, we use 1.5 for the zipper. So we also use that 1.5 for the zipper for this place. So I'll just mark 1.5 and connect the line. So this now is my zipper. So from this place now, I'll start my measurement. So I'll take my 10.25, which is quarter of my bust measurement. Then 1.5 for my seam allowance. And at the half length, I'll take my waist measurement, and the waist I'm working with is 36 inches. Divide by 4 to give me 9 inches. Then I'll mark it, and I'll add my 1 inch, my 1.5 inch for seam allowance. So I'll just connect this line this way. So coming to this place now, for my darts, I'll take my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches plus my allowance. So here, just your nipple to nipple measurement, divide by 2, then you add your allowance. So mine plus my allowance, I mark 4 inches at the chest line, and at the waistline, I'll mark the same 4 inches. Then coming up at the upper part, I will mark 5 inches. We'll just connect it. So I'll just add 1 inch to this part because I'll be cutting this out. So for me to join it, I'll be using 1/2 inch to join it. So I'll be adding the 1 inch that I will use to join it back at this part. So here, our shoulder is 16 divided by 2, which is 8. 8 minus 2 to give us 6. So I'll mark my 6 inches here. Then add the 1 inch that I will use to join it. Then here, I will add 1 inch to this part, and at my waist, I will add 1 inch. I will just connect this. After connecting, I'll make a slight curve from this place to this place, this way. I'll just lance my line this way, and that should be my armhole side. So here, I'll just cut out this way, this way, this way, and this way. But coming down to this part, okay, to avoid the bulge at the zipper parts, I will come up by 1.5 inches this way. Then I will slant it to join this back part. Hope you are seeing what I'm doing. I'll just slant it this way. So now I'm cutting like this, like this, like this. So for my neckline, okay, head now, cut it out. So I'll open up here for my zip. So this is my back. Okay, I've joined the front part, but I've also joined it to the down part of it. And as you can see, I did not tape the neck. I'll come to that and tell you why I did it this way. Then this is the back. I've also inserted my zip. I use an invisible zip. I've also inserted my zip. And I've joined it all. And this is the down part of it. So I'll just proceed to my machine now and use my body measurements to join it up. After joining, I'll join my sleeve. After joining the back and the front part, after joining the half length, I'll add up my sleeve. I'll be using a tiny sleeve like 2.5 inches here, so that this place will be open. I'll just add like 2.5 inches here, the same way. Then after that, I will measure it round plus the sleeve, because I'll be attaching these fringes to it. This is 3 yards. So after that, after taking my round measurements, I will use this. After adding the sleeve, I will use this to tape it round the dress, both the sleeve. Then I'll cut out this excess net that is here, but I'll first of all stitch it up before I cut out the net. Then I'll cut a long fabric, which depends on what I got after measuring the round. I'll cut out by 1 inch width, then I'll cut out the length that I measured. Then I'll use it to tape it at the back, then fold it at the front round. So I'll quickly go to my machine now and do the joining. Then I'll come back to show you the finishing part. Okay, so this is the result of our beautiful mermaid dress. As you can see, the tail drops out very well. Thank you for watching till the end. Till we'll meet in my next class. And please, if you are yet to subscribe, kindly do so by clicking on that red icon to subscribe. Love you all. Bye.